If you're looking for a foolproof diet backed by science, you're gonna love this one. And it's not just some unsubstantiated pseudoscience, but based on a Nobel Prize-winning idea. Before we unveil the mystery, take a moment to subscribe to our channel and turn on post notifications to keep up with all our updates. Japanese biologist Dr. Yoshinori Osumi discovered a way of eating that helps us stay youthful and healthy. His idea was so innovative that he received the 2016 Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine. According to his work, when we go longer periods of time without eating, our cells recycle everything old and useless and rejuvenate themselves in a process called autophagy. So we looked into different types of interval fasting and chose the simplest and safest plan for you. It'll kickstart that autophagy process and keep you young and fit. What is a diet window? A diet window is basically the time between your first and last meal of the day. Let's say you usually wake up at 7 a.m. and have breakfast an hour later. That means that you've opened this window at 8 a.m. If you finish your day off with supper at 8 or 10 p.m., then your diet window is 12 to 14 hours every day. Before Dr. Osumi's discovery, people always believed that they should eat more often but in small portions, because otherwise the body would store fat. But according to a recent 2017 study by Dr. Panda of the Salk Institute in San Diego, people who eat from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. are less healthy than those who eat from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. When the diet window is narrower, the chances of developing diabetes, anemia, cancer, and obesity are lower. But when you eat whenever you want, including those late-night fridge raids we're all guilty of, you mess up your circadian rhythm. You see, this is your body's natural cycle, and it wasn't designed for 24/7 food consumption. Dr. Panda's team analyzed the eating habits of 156 adults. A mere 10% of them were eating within a 12-hour window, while over half enjoyed yummy stuff for at least 15 hours a day. The researchers offered 8 slightly overweight people to go from a 14-hour eating cycle down to a 10-hour window. As a result, they lost weight and felt way more energized after 4 months of enjoying their favorite meals, but on a limited time gap. So staying slim and healthy is more a product of when you eat, not what you eat. What happens if you reduce your eating window? There have been multiple studies on the connection between a smaller diet window and cholesterol and blood sugar levels, appetite, and weight. In a 2017 study, researchers at the University of Alabama at Birmingham tested their theory by narrowing participants' eating windows to 12, 8, 6, or 4 hours. All of the study's people ate the same food as they normally would without choosing any special diet foods, and they ate the same number of calories as the control groups. Indeed, those with a decreased time frame for eating showed obvious weight loss and better health. So how exactly does a smaller eating window help you lose weight? It happens because the body burns more fat at night. Plus, both hunger and energy expenditure decrease. This was proven by a similar study in 2013 by the Department of Exercise Sciences at Brigham Young University. A smaller metabolic window has tons of other health benefits besides weight loss. It increases protection from UV radiation, which means less aging and a lower risk of developing skin cancer. It significantly decreases high blood pressure as well as the chance of developing breast cancer. It also reduces the likelihood of suffering from serious heart conditions. Abiding by the rhythm nature itself has provided you will keep your cardiovascular health at its best. This also has to do with the decreased risk of developing diabetes, which does a real number on the heart. Finally, you'll get much better sleep. Why is the time you eat so important? It's important not just to cut the diet window down, but to also choose the right time to eat. Everybody has their own circadian rhythm, that biological clock we mentioned earlier that's closely connected with day-night changes. Although we all have this natural clock built in us, it can adapt to external factors, like light and temperature. A group of geneticists, namely Drs. Jeffrey Hall, Michael Rosbash, and Michael Young, won the 2017 Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine for their groundbreaking work on this subject. They studied how molecular mechanisms affect our internal clock. A much easier to understand example of this can be found in the shame plant. Its leaves open when the sun's out during the day and close at night. As for humans and other multicellular organisms, we have a more advanced and complicated cycle. The researchers found that different phases of the day are the best times for certain natural activities. But when we break the cycle and go against our biological clock, we increase the risk of developing obesity and diabetes. So here's what you should know in order to keep up with your natural cycle. In the morning, our body starts producing cortisol, and we have energy and an appetite. In the evening, melatonin is produced, which means the body is preparing itself for sleep by slowing down internal processes, like digestion. If you eat in the evening, it throws your biological clock out of whack. You become tired in the morning since your cortisol levels are low. Your body doesn't wake up till later in the day. In the evening, your cortisol level is high, so you get more energized and hungry even though your body needs to sleep. As a result, you have a higher risk of developing diabetes, obesity, and depression. How to build your new eating schedule. To be more in tune with your body's natural cycle, you need to follow some simple rules. Wake up at 6 or 7 a.m. or when it's light outside. Have breakfast 30 to 60 minutes after waking up. Start work 2 to 3 hours after you get up. Eat more for breakfast than for lunch. Shorten your diet window to 6 to 8 hours without changing how many calories you take in. The 9-hour window is a pretty rough schedule to follow. You have to wake up at 7 a.m., have a hearty breakfast at 8, have a light lunch at noon, and then have dinner at 4 p.m. And if you can, don't eat anything after that. Sounds hard, I know, but the end result is so worth it if you're up for the challenge. How to fight the hunger. Of course, many people worry about feeling starved for the entire evening. Scientists at Denmark's Aarhus University Hospital even looked into this back in 2005. It turns out that the hunger hormone ghrelin is tied to our circadian rhythm. It peaks in the blood at 8 a.m., 1 p.m., and 7 p.m. After every peak, no matter if a person has eaten something or just had a cup of tea, the flow of the hormone always stops 2 hours later. This means that you shouldn't trust the feeling of hunger that makes you eat every 3 hours. Scientists claim that over time, the body will get used to taking big breaks between meals, and it won't feel hungry so often. The same works the other way around, though. If you eat more often, your hunger is stronger. As with any major change, especially when it comes to eating, it'll be hard to narrow down your diet window at first. For the first few days, you'll feel like you could eat an elephant by 7 p.m. But you can pull through this rocky phase by eating fruits and vegetables. A week later, the body will get used to it. Your appetite will be smaller, and you'll start seeing all the amazing health benefits. So, really, this diet plan isn't all that scary or impossible. Here's all you have to do. Figure out what your diet window is. If you have breakfast at 8 a.m. and dinner at 8 p.m., your diet window is 12 hours. Narrow your window down to 6 to 8 hours and keep it in the early part of the day, from 8 a.m. to 2 or 4 p.m. Do not count calories. They don't matter. Yay! After a week or two, your body will get used to it, and you'll be feeling fresh as a daisy every morning, even on Mondays. Do you want to give this diet a try? Tell me in the comments below. Don't forget to click subscribe to stay on the bright side of life.